Each of us has a story. Whether that story includes tales of fame and great feats, or misfortune and poverty, what unites us is story. Join Katie McAllister and Tony Pickler, hosts of the popular podcasts Revealed and Auditio Divina, Sacred Listening with Heart, for this new podcast, Stories from the Streets, which delves into the lives of individuals experiencing homelessness. Stories from the Streets offers a compelling and compassionate exploration of the human experience of homelessness, while also inspiring action and fostering understanding and empathy in our listeners. The personal background, journey into homelessness, daily life, as well as the joys and the hopes, the griefs and the anxieties of our brothers and sisters on the streets will be explored. Let's join Katie and Tony for Stories from the Street.
Welcome to Stories from the Streets. I'm Katie.
And I'm Tony, and this is a new podcast called Stories from the Streets that we are trying to bring to you to help you and us, all of us in our community, understand a little bit more about homelessness. Our brothers and sisters on the streets have all kinds of challenges that most of us can't even begin to imagine what that looks like, what that feels like, what that reality is all about. And so we're going to have a guest once a month to help you, to help us to understand a little bit more about the realities of homelessness. And so today we begin our inaugural voyage.
And with us today at the library is Purple. Thank you, Purple, for saying yes to sharing your story. Yeah. So let's just start out. What is your story? How did you get to today? What is your story?
I moved from Washington State to be with my little sister. I have one sister, which is younger than I am, and I have one brother, and he's 2 years older than I am, and he's looking at some pretty good charges on him right now. I ain't gonna go back to prison. My sister lives here, and she broke her foot and her ankle and asked for my help. So I was already homeless out there. So it didn't make any difference to me. So I came back here to be with her. Yeah.
And when you grew up in Washington, talk a little bit about your family life. Your mom, dad.
My mom was a drunk. My father, that's not starting my father. Anyway, I didn't have a very good life. I was in and out of foster care system. I was constantly being tossed back and forth between the state, my parents, and my grandmother. And finally, the state took me away from all of it when I was 16, actually 14. I went to a girls' group home for 2 years, and I did the best I could. When I became 16, my mother became the emancipated minor because she didn't want her to be responsible for me. She didn't care about me. She showed no love to me. So, yeah,
So you've been in and out of homelessness for quite a while.
I have for 9 years. I've been homeless for 9 years on the streets, either sleeping here, sleeping there, a couch here, a couch there, the ground, whatever. I don't know Green Bay very well, so because I don't know Green Bay, I don't know where to go. I've had other people tell me, "Oh, go here, go there," but that's not easy because this keeps breaking down on me. And when it's not a full charge, then I can't go very far. And it has to be a full 24-hour charge in order for to really go anywhere or do anything. And I ran around so much this morning here and there that it's now added use again. So that's why I'm here to charge up my wheelchair. I have both spurs and both my kneecaps, which enables me to walk very good. I was walking there for a walker for a while, but that has not helped me out to make it worse for me. I have just been from one thing to the next. I fractured my leg in April, and couldn't do much of anything. So that's where my sister got this chair for me, so I could be able to be not walking on it. I was just told on the 4th of June that my leg is not completely healed, that God's healed it. And so that's good. Now I just need the bone spurs to go away, and that won't happen until I can be off the streets in an apartment, and then the doctors will do the surgery. They won't do the surgery, as they keep telling me. Um, if we do it, you could get an infection like that. Just a drop of the hat, and then we'd be all back to square one. In fact, we might have to chop it off, depending on how bad it gets. So I have been dealing with my bone spurs in my legs since 2012. I had hip surgery in 2013, so it hurts me to lay on the ground of a shoulder. I broke this in May of last year. It's been a year now. In Washington State, I was in a car wreck with my boyfriend that really messed up my arm. So I'm constantly tossing and turning all night long. Currently, right now, my sister and I are staying in a motel because her payee is paying for it.
How hard is just getting a place? You talked a little bit earlier before we went on about trying to just find housing.
Finding housing is hard because they want so much money. I mean, you don't get enough money from the state to accommodate for all the inflation that's going on. I mean, we're looking at a good thousand whatever just for a studio. That's not a one bedroom. That's not a two bedroom. That's just a studio. And then they want first month rent, last month rent, deposit. And usually the deposit is as much as the rent is. So that makes it hard right there because we don't make enough money to be able to do anything. And a lot of these places I've come across has they want 3 times the rent. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't know anybody that makes 3 times the rent. I just don't. And even with my little sister and I together, we still don't make 3 times the rent. So that's what disqualifies us right there.
No, you're purple. You're in a wheelchair, and I'm sure that will play into what I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
What is a day in the life like for you? I got to imagine that being in this power wheelchair that you're in, there's some places you can't get into, you can't maneuver around. There's some inaccessibility issues that we have, but also just in general. What's a day in the life for you as a person who's living on
Well,
streets?
I've noticed that a lot of the places here in Green Bay do have wheelchairs accessible. But, however, they have the ramp, but they don't have the buttons to push to open the door. So it's so hard for me to open up the door and then get through, and then open up the second door and get through. Like I'll give you, for instance, I have a payee, and that's a helping hands, and they have a ramp, but they have no push buttons for me to get into the door. And the doors are so heavy, and I have to pull it open, plus get myself in, and pull open the second door just to get into the lobby, to get into the part where the people are. I did that. And a lot of the times I can't do it without help. I just can't do it.
Right now, you said that you're staying in a hotel with your sister, but when you're not in a hotel, where do you sleep? And then where do you get meals? Where do you eat?
We've been sleeping under the Mason Street Bridge. We were told by the police, though, we can't sleep there. So we're sleeping next to the river. So far, they haven't thrown us out of that yet.
Yet.
Yeah, yeah. Food. Um, Sometimes my PE gives me money for food, and sometimes she don't. And when she don't, there's churches that come to St. John's Park. I don't like to hang out at John Park though. They do drugs. They do alcohol. They fight over the alcohol. They fight over the drugs. They've gotten so bad there that the cops are there every day. 5, 6 times a day, the cops are there. So I just go there enough to grab a meal and I run off to the river and eat my meal. And when they don't have meals, which a lot of the time they don't, I either go to Salvation Army or I go to Well Springs. That's a place for women to go, only for women, on 700 Walnut Street. That's for women. And they can have a meal. Sometimes she does lunch Depends on if she gets donations for lunch, and you can hang out there. They've got puzzles you can do. They have computers you can do. They have games you can play. Fellowship with other people. They have you sign into the computer so they know who's been there and not been there. Then usually they sign you up a chore. So before you leave, you have to do some kind of chore, and it will tell you different things on the list of a chore you can pick. You get to pick your own chore. But yes, I have it done before 3 because 3:30 is when they close. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're open until 3:30. Tuesday, they're open till 3, and then on Friday they're only open until 12.
So your life is dependent on when they're open and when the library is open, and so you really don't have a lot of freedom. True
I don't.
freedom.
I don't have a card, and I don't have a license. And the reason why I don't have a license is because I'm an epileptic, and they won't let me have a license because I could not only kill somebody else and kill myself. I don't want to take that responsibility to get into a vehicle knowing that I can kill myself and especially kill somebody else. I don't go there. So I ride the bus, I ride my scooter, or I walk. One of the three.
So looking into your future, I mean, it must be hard when you're day to day trying to figure out where you're going to sleep and where you're going to get a meal. But if you do look into the future, what would be like your hopes and dreams for your future?
Finding a place to stay permanently, at least for a while, for a couple of years, and just live my life the way I need to. I don't know what it's going to go from here, what exactly where I'm going to end up, but eventually my sister and I do want to move to Tennessee. However, she's on paper right now, so she can't move. That's why I moved here.
What is paper? What is
She's been in trouble with the law.
Oh, okay.
So she's got a parole officer.
Okay. Okay.
So she's on paper.
Okay.
Until she's on paper, we can't go. She can't go anywhere. I can go wherever I want. I have no criminal history at all behind me. Nothing. But she is. And so therefore that's why I came to her. Because she couldn't come to me.
Because that's a sister. That's what sisters do.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people that just don't understand homelessness at all because they either don't know people who are homeless or B have never experienced it themselves.
Right.
So if you were able to tell our listeners one thing about what it is to be homeless or something you would want them to know about being homeless, what's that one thing you would tell them?
Try not to be homeless if you can help it. And if you do become homeless, seek shelter or seek wherever you got to go to help yourself to get out of the rut that you're in and not want to be long term. For me, it's been long term. It's been 9 years that I've been homeless. I was homeless in Washington State for 8 years, and I've been here for a year. So I've been homeless for a year here. So that's 9 years I've been homeless. And that's not fun. And I want to get a pet, but can't because I barely can take care of myself right now, let alone the pet. I want to take care of my sister, but again, I can't because I have to take care of myself. And so it makes it complicated for me. Um, like I said, I don't know where I'm having food. I don't know where to sleep. I don't know where my next anything is. However, you can do showers. Say there's an army. They do showers. And at Wellsprings on 2 different days on Thursday and or Tuesday and Friday. You can go and do showers at the women's shelter. You can get a hot meal, breakfast, and lunch, and they'll serve it to you. But other than that, you have to seek it out. You can't just expect it to come to you. Because if you expect it to come to you, it ain't gonna happen. You gotta go to it. You have to seek it out. Just like an apartment, you have to seek it out. They're not gonna come to you. They're not gonna like, oh well, I'll help you. You're gonna get in tomorrow. No, it's not like that. It's you have to seek it out. You have to find that place, special place or whatever, to get into it, have the money to pay for it, know how to do it. And if you don't, well, it's not gonna jump in your pocket. You have to seek it out.
So
A lot of people don't know that it's how tough it is, and it's really tough out there, not knowing where to go, what to do. For me, I'm totally lost because I don't know Green Bay at all. I've been around a few places, but not enough places to know where to go. Really, that's basically it.
you don't have a huge network of, family and friends that you can just say, hey,
No.
help me out.
My brother's looking back going to prison. My father's dying, and my mother died in 2018. The only one I have is my little sister.
Well, Purple, we cannot thank you enough for sharing your story. And hopefully that by you sharing your story, more people become more aware and that more resources can come forth to help you because we kind of do this together. It can't be you alone. We gotta be in this together and helping each other. And that's what we're hoping that we can bring.
You guys want a good story, you want a lot of people to help you get a good story, go to St. John's Park. Across from the shelter, go to St. John's Park. They're out there everywhere, all of them. There's, I'm looking a good maybe 10, 15 people, maybe 20 people that's there, and they're all doing everything that I'm doing, scrounging for food, wanting a place to stay. They sleep on the hard concrete. I've been trying to stay in the grass, which that's so hard for me because of the different problems I have. But they sleep on the concrete, and they charge up their phones, and they listen to each other complain, and they fight over different things. I'm just not into that. I've never done drugs in my life. I've never smoked or drank. I've smoked cigarettes for a little while, but I got away from that. I am now 26 years clean from cigarettes. Never wanted anything harder than that because of my mother being a drunk and a druggie. I decided I didn't want that for my life, as well as my sister. So thank God neither one of us have gotten into that. So I don't know that world. But if you want to talk to somebody about that, go there because they'll tell you.
Well, Purple, thanks so much for taking some time to share your story with us. And for all of our listeners, until we meet again on Stories from the Streets, keep your minds, keep your eyes, keep your ears, and keep your hearts open for your stories from the streets. See you next time.